Vacationing friends wanting to save money by staying with us for free. Short backstory. We used to live in a different country, but moved to Europe, and since then, we've gotten too many freeloaders from our old life coming here for free accommodation. Home is currently a large 5-bedroom house on a farm in the mountains. It's a small town in the middle of Europe, so it's super peaceful, but we're still close enough to the capital city and other hubs. We used to live in a big city in another country and still have a lot of family and friends there. We've been here for close to 20 years now, and in those first few years, we'd get a steady stream of people coming to stay with us on the pretext, "It's so good to see you again." I'm not kidding. Between June and the end of August, we'd have one group leave and another arrive. Hospitality being what it is, we never asked these people to pay for their stay, and they never offered. The first year was bearable, but after 3 or 4 years of this, we're over it. These freeloading leeches had other family and friends within a few hours of us, and we heard from some of these people that these freeloaders planned their European itinerary according to where they could stay and eat for free, consistently abusing our culture of hospitality. After about 3 or 4 years into being a free B&B, news got back to us about how cheap we are. We're a family of 5, so when you get another entire family that comes in, that's a whole lot of mouths to feed. Often, we'd cook up a large pot of meat and vegetable stew with homemade bread, or a large roast. We'd also try to take our guests to a local attraction. So imagine when the news gets back to you that we crammed their whole family into one room, gave them crappy food, and took them to boring places. There were also complaints by some that they left our house hungry. One family went as far as to have lost a valuable piece of digital gear and accused my kids of stealing it. They later found it in the car of another friend, but didn't bother apologizing for the accusations. Not all of our out-of-town guests were bad, though. These are the ones that have been invited to come back. The rest have never been invited back, and if they do call, we ask them if we can make a reservation for them at a local hotel. I'm so sick of kicking one or more of my kids out of their rooms to accommodate choosing beggars, and then have their crap all over my house. They take all your hospitality and expect more, then have the nerve to complain that you don't offer enough food, we don't have the right drinks or snacks, and that it's boring here. Needless to say, ever since we're no longer available as a free destination, we're the ones being called cheapskates by choosing beggars, who come to Europe and not pay a single night's accommodation in a hotel because they look for suckers to take them in for free. We don't care though, as long as they don't come here. My parents have a pretty big house in Florida. They love it when family visit. But when they do, the visitors always pitch in, buying groceries, taking their hosts out to eat, and even doing yard work if they see something that needs doing. No parasites in our family. My niece landed a great job shortly after finishing her master's degree, and when she had a chance to visit, she celebrated by taking her grandparents out for a fancy dinner at my mom and dad's favorite place. This is why, when you have property in a desirable holiday location, that you lie. No spare bedroom, only one bathroom, and so on. I have a holiday house. It will eventually become my permanent home. And as far as anyone is aware, I rent the same property each holiday. Not that I actually own it. It's in a lovely holiday destination, but I have no intention of opening it up for every man and his dog to use as if they have some right to it. But we want to use the new ones. Fine, I guess I'll just steal the old ones. So, my parents bought an amazing house on a lake about 5 years ago. The people who owned it before are the kind of people who are so wealthy they don't even know what they own and didn't notice when things went missing. My parents bought the house fully furnished and with all the water sport stuff included. So the summer after they bought the house, they noticed that the canoe and kayaks would be moved around the dock randomly. He didn't really care if neighbors used the stuff, but after he had to replace a kayak paddle for the second time, my dad decided that he was just going to buy all new equipment and lock the good stuff in the shop down by the water, instead of just storing it on shore or the dock. Well, he bought 4 nice kayaks and a new canoe, and we were out on the water before long. It only took a couple of days for a neighbor to come knocking at his door, asking where the new kayaks were. My dad realized that her family was the one using and probably losing his stuff. So he informed her that the new equipment would be for family only. But her and her family were free to use the older stuff. Just know that my dad wouldn't be replacing the paddles anymore. This pissed her off and she whined and complained. And my dad, being the overly generous sucker that he is, didn't rescind his offer to let her use the old stuff, but thankfully did not relent on the new. Well, the next day, the older canoe and both kayaks were gone, and a quick ride on the boat showed that the neighbor had just taken them to her property. Apparently, being told that she could use them meant that she could have them. So, Dad took them back, and now they have been safely locked away since. I think we have used them twice since then. I'm glad your dad took them back in the end. I can't believe she just took them. If this broad and her family can afford to live on a freaking lake, they can afford their own paddling gear. I say that as an avid paddler. I do the kayak, SUP, surf, and canoe. Who has spent tens of thousands on quality gear just in the last 5 years. I feel for the first OP's family. Ungrateful guests are the worst. You're living in another person's home for free. The least you could do is bring a present, or at least be a wholesome guest. The audacity and the entitlement. As for second OP, his dad did the right thing by locking away his stuff for good. That lady and her family would have abused his goodness many times over without forking a dime for repairs or at least a new paddle. That's it for today. Hope to see you all soon in a future video. If you have similar stories to share, please leave a comment down below. Bye!